madoda akithi ngizothi nje futhi angikhuluma ngesingisi lento khona uzobona ukuthi wonke amadoda amnyama so you see black men need to stop whining. We need to stop with the whining. To stop complaining. Stop crying. We need to stop busy here in the streets, toying and picketing. We can't be wasting time with these demonstrations and complaints and talks and meetings and indabas. We've been doing this thing for 400 years now. It's not working. We really need to quit this mentality of whining. I know it's what you learn from your mothers because your fathers were not there, but it's just not how you're going to get anywhere in this world as a man. Because if you didn't know, your voice as a man does not carry its weight in silver or gold or whatever. It doesn't mean anything. So no one cares about what you say, especially if you're a black man. No one gives a damn. So you need to stop talking. We need to stop talking and to start doing, So I'm just going to say, you guys who are doing well, you guys who have businesses, you guys who are raking in the money and millions, we recognize you. You're there. You're in a community. We recognize the lavish cars and lavish homes that you are now living in. It's nice. It's inspirational to some degree, but it doesn't serve the community. Because, for example, you are in a community of, say, 50,000 people who are dwelling in shacks, and you grow up in a shack alongside them, and somehow in life you make it, and you come back, destroy your shack, and you build a new house for your mommy, and in the most opulent fashion possible. Okay, no problem. And then you buy yourself a fancy car, buy your mom a fancy car, and you know for a fact the next thing that's going to happen from there is that 50,000 community that you are part of, that you are now living lavish amongst, they are going to break into your house and steal your goods. They are going to take your luxuries. They're going to take things of value that you are now have worked hard for. And then you're going to say black people are thieves. But the problem here is you did not think hard enough to realize that you need to actually show humility and do more. So if you've made it in life, I'm not saying don't go build homes for your mamas and stuff. No, I don't. You know what? I'm not against that. But as a man, you need to think beyond your yard. So I would say let's start taking our money. Let's identify children with potential and literally adopt them financially in our community. If you are making millions a year, then you must have 2 or 3 or 4 kids in your community that you are paying school for and fees for and traveling for. Basically, they must become your children. You must make sure that these kids are eating. You must take these kids to, like every end of the year, take them to career orientation. Let them see the world that you've seen. Let them see people doing things, expand their horizon, So instead of buying a Lamborghini, buy yourself a Nissan or a Polo Vivo, and that 12 grand per month you could be paying towards your car, plus insurance, which is going to be around. So in total, you'll be paying about 18,000 towards a car, or 20, depending, on how old you are and the type of vehicle. But with these luxury brands, your insurance premiums are going to be very high if you're below 30, as a male. So instead of paying 20 grand towards a car, pay 5 grand towards a car and take your 15,000 per month and split it amongst 3 or 4 kids. Get them groceries, pay their school fees. If you can, take them to a better school. Have your kids, your invest in your community. Get these kids out, because see, the thing about it is we black people, we are so apathetic towards ourselves in such a way that we believe that somebody else needs to come in and solve the problems of our community while we are there. It can't be. It can't be. It can't be. I'm not saying people shouldn't enjoy their lives, but that's not what we are here for. We're not here to enjoy our lives. This is another toxic thing that you're learning from your mothers, that life is hedonism, feelings. Life is not about nursing your feelings and convictions. Look outside. Look at all the other animals and what they are doing. They are basically doing things of function, of survival, communal growth. So, I don't know. It's up to you. But I would say, forget the luxury brands and luxury cars and get some kids, some life, a lifeline. Give some kids a lifeline that you didn't get. Don't come and tell us about how nobody helped you out, you did it on your own. Yeah, that's fine. That was your journey. What you need to do now is to come out and make somebody else's life easier. You will tell me, how much in terms of fulfillment you're going to get from that. And you can compare that to your luxury cars and luxury clothes and tell me, which would you have rather done? So let's forget about these things of opulence. And even worse, these things of opulence. It's very interesting and tricky because as you walk around minding your business in the streets, the kids are watching and they're forming opinions and they're judging you and they're looking at you. This is the example that I want to follow. This is the kind of guy I want to be. So you need to also be very careful about how you carry yourself in the community. If you're going to be driving fancy cars, running around with easy fare and drinking every weekend, expensive bottles, then that's what you're training all the other young boys around you. They're looking up to you and they'll say, that's the life I want to live. So no one is going to have a mentality of community if we are all going to be doing that. It's a challenge for myself, it's a challenge for you. And if you're already on the other side of the financial game, take it or leave it. As I make myself to the other side as well, I'll be doing it and I'll be showing you, how we do this thing. One community at a time. It's not a hurry, it's a long-term plan. So let's do that. Let's not wait for white people to come with bursaries and programs that they don't really want to do because they would rather be taking care of their own communities. Let's make the responsibility of building our own communities, our own, somebody else. Let's not wait for Jesus, Let's not wait for big multinational corporations. Instead, let's build multinational corporations from the ground up. Let's do that. And our communities alongside that must reflect that. Let's recapture all this money that we are throwing out to their community and bring it back into our own.